Hello, everybody. I'm Joyanne Haigh. We welcome our viewers and listeners in Barbados and around the world to another episode of Face It and Fix It on CBC TV 8, CBC Barbados Facebook and YouTube, and of course, Q100.7 FM radio. Now, before we start the show, I have to share some sad news, and I think most of you may know, and if you don't, unfortunately, we heard of the passing of John Doe. Warren Fort was his real name. John Doe was his DJ name. And he was a DJ at Starcom Radio, Hot 95.3 FM to be exact. John was born in Canada and born in Canada and bred in Barbados. And he passed suddenly yesterday while he was at work. As we know that he left the island, he left Canada and came to Barbados. He had a background in accounting and so many things. He was so talented in finances, etc. But he found a love and a passion for music and playing music. And we're just shocked. I'm trying my best to hold it together. Last night I did not sleep well because, of course, we know of the passing of Dennis Johnson only a few days ago. And we'll talk a little bit more about John. But I just want to take a moment to remember people like Trevor Hollingsworth from Starcom Network, the late Trevor Hollingsworth, the late Vioma Ali, the late John Doe, Warren Fort, and the late Dennis Johnson. All four of us actually worked together at the same time many years ago, walking the halls of Starcom Network, and they'll be missed. And I want to offer my sincere condolences to his wife, Tracy, family, friends, and colleagues, and may he rest in peace. Now today, even though we started on a sad note, this show is all about you, our listeners and our viewers. We have no guests today coming in. We have you, the callers and the viewers, and those of you who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube. We want to hear from you today. So we've just put everybody else on hold. We want to give you an opportunity to weigh in on your concerns, tell us some solutions. We also want to give you some oximeters today. We have about 10. We also have a tablet that we want to give one of our viewers, listeners, or should I say contributors. And how this is going to work is that you call us, you share concerns. We're also very interested in your solutions, and that's where the oximeters will be given more that side. But of course, if your contribution is good enough, and I think all of them are great, but one that is really, hits the nail on the head, we certainly will be giving you an oximeter today and a tablet. We have lots to talk about. Today's safe zones and the start of the safe zones effective November 8th, the Emergency Management COVID number 2 Amendment Order 2021. And we will talk about that and your thoughts about the safe zones, your thoughts about the vaccine. However, I want us to bring some good news and things that we can do to push this country forward, things that we need to do for ourselves and put ourselves in a better frame of mind. So I'm urging you, call 228-5563. Don't be shy. Don't call us after the show. Call us and let us know what you want to tell us, your concerns, or send us a WhatsApp at 228-5562. And I'll repeat that. Calls can come on 228-5563 or 228-5562. But if you're sending a WhatsApp, it's 228-5562. If you want to send us a message via social media, Facebook, then you type in CBC Barbados, you'll find us there, you leave your comments there, and we will put them on the screen. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you and your calls and having a robust discussion with you, your thoughts about the Republic, your thoughts about health care, your thoughts about pretty much anything. And I also have some good news to share with you when we come back after the break. and fix it. As I said at the start, we are going to dedicate this show to our viewers and our listeners. So if you are driving and you're listening to Q100.7 FM, pull over, stop the car and give us a call. Good morning, Face It and Fix It. You are on the air.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you this morning, ma'am?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
I'm trying as well, thank you. I heard you say you're giving away a tablet this morning, right?
At some point, we'll let you know when the tablet is, but for sure the oximeters will be the first. Yes, sir.
I was just wondering if that tablet would be one they could use for my blood pressure. Would be a blood pressure tablet?
Well, we can see if we can hook you up maybe later on in the show. What do you want to share with us, something that would lower your blood pressure this morning?
No, I obviously, like the rest of us, are alarmed at I call it the rampage of death, because me, John Doe, a guy whom I knew for years, he has just left us. And my perception is that these are some extremely desperate and severe times. You know, death seems to be stalking us like some sort of monster, you know. So I just want to say a few words of what hope would be sober reflection. I hear the short verse I want to share with you.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. It says, "O eloquent, just, mighty death, whom none could advise, thou hast persuaded, what none have dared, thou hast done. Thou hast drawn together all the far-stretched greatness, the pride, cruelty, ambition of man, and thou hast covered it over with these two narrow words, hic jacet." I don't know if my pronunciation is correct there, but hic jacet is Latin for here lies. And you know, in a way, you know, like when you go to a funeral, there's a sense that, you know, this is what we end up as a pile of dust, you know, and you actually need something to reassure you that there is more to death than just, as someone said, putting in your time on a troubled planet. When someone you care about and you see that casket being lowered into the hole, in a way you need a sort of reassurance. Man, there has to be something more to life than this, right? And I hope that in this time that we really take time out for serious and meticulous and really celebratory examination, because as human beings, we need reassurance. We need truth, you know, we need security. And I think each person owes it to his or herself to search diligently for that truth, right? And I will say this to you, Ms. Haigh, that the Bible is a book that I actually, for now, hold in very high regard. And it is in that book that I find thoughts and concepts that offer me some reassurance. And I would suggest that for others out there who consider the Bible to be, well, a book of truth, some people say it is quote-unquote the Word of God, whatever that means, right? But at least we pay careful attention to it. Because that book itself says that you do have wolves in sheep's clothing. And some of these religions that appear to give us a kind of reassurance, actually, when you critically examine them, you discover that they're not what they tout themselves to be. So I would admonish my fellow Barbadians to in their quest to deal with and cope with these serious times, to take a step back, to diligently search for truth, and respond to it intelligently.
Can I ask you a question before you go? And because I think it's great what you're saying, and it's very positive, but I have a habit of when people tell me these things, I put it back to them and I want to focus on you.
Okay.
Tell me, what have you done, or what do you do to make a difference for yourself, for the people around you? Because it's okay to tell us, and I respect that, your knowledge of the Bible and you're sharing the Word of God, and I truthfully, I respect that. But I also would like to hear, what do you do to help?
Right. I would confess up front that I don't do near enough in terms of reaching out to people and sharing. For years I have described myself as a searcher, and quite frankly, I'm still in the mode of searching for truth. And I will confess to you, Joanne, that I tend to be a bit, how would I put it? I'm not much of a mixer. I think that I'm a bit of a thinker, and I don't know if I have a kind of attitude that people need to take responsibility for their own actions. So, for instance, when I see people whom I perceive to be like reckless and irresponsible, they litter, they abuse alcohol, they abuse drugs, I must confess, my initial response is one of you can and you ought to do better than that. So
judging.
I don't know what you call it, judging, whatever you mean by that, but saying I am a firm believer that each person can and ought, just my thoughts, make that effort. Even, for instance, when we look back at the damage, the severe trauma that has been inflicted on us, black people, through slavery, and as has been clearly demonstrated, the legacy, the damaging legacy still persists. However, I'm saying that, Joanne, if you do something that is really nasty to me, suppose you throw something on me that is, smelly. We can agree that that wasn't nice, and I can blame you forever. But I still think I have some sort of duty to myself to make the effort to clean up myself. So I am the sort of person who to some extent tend to hold people responsible for their actions. So
Well, I get that, but I also get that you did admit that there's more that you can do.
Oh yeah.
And if I may, and a person who does not know the Bible probably as much as you do, and probably I don't know it, period. There are a lot of things I don't know in the Bible.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this from my heart, because kind of like Dr. Corey Ford when he said God speaks to him, I think he speaks to a lot of us in that inner voice. And I try to listen to that inner voice when I don't read the Bible or I probably don't understand it.
Okay.
But to encourage you to see if you can not only see others, but see yourself.
Yes.
And what you can then do, not only to help you, but to help others in a way that is pleasing to God. And because I find that we all have information we want to share with someone else and what they're doing. But my question today to our viewers and listeners, when you make your contributions, I also want to hear what you do too as well. Because that's actually more important. The man in the mirror is more important right now.
Just a quick response. I agree with you that it is very important to look at oneself and to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. And I like I said, I see myself as still a person, a searcher, and I have the perception that there's so much more I can do with myself. But I'll do something now by offering a compliment to you. I've listened to you over time, and you've always come over to me as a very sincere and honest person. I tend to observe people, and I do not see the slightest hint of arrogance or snobbishness about you. You appear to me to be a kind person. I've always heard you extolling the virtues of humility, being humble. I heard you take the time to articulate the difference between equality and equity. So I actually admire your thoughts. I think you're a great hostess, right? So you actually in your way make a contribution in terms of helping to raise our consciousness, and you do it without being perhaps as judgmental as I tend to be. So thank you so much. You have a great day.
Thank you too. And you can leave your name and contact information with the producer, because you were a first caller and you gave us a good run. And I want to thank you for that. And again, we're giving away oximeters. The producer can put a picture of the oximeter on the screen shortly. This is what you will get when you call. Not every caller. It all depends on your contribution and your understanding of what this is for. You know that COVID is around. Measuring the oxygen saturation levels is important. The Prime Minister of Barbados a couple of weeks ago in a press conference, I believe it was a press conference, she said, I would like every household to have one of these. It's important to know what direction you're heading in case you are having symptoms of COVID, but not even about COVID, because there's so many other things out there happening that to have one of these in your house, now it's not the most expensive one, but it's working. I tested it. And ladies, if you are wearing nail polish, you may not get 100% good reading, but you'll get something to go by. And I learned that only 2 days ago when Dr. Adana Grandison was speaking to me, and I said, is this oximeter supposed to go down and up? I said, are you wearing nail polish and gel polish by any chance? She said, yep. Oh, there it is. So it will read, but the gel polish may be an issue. So again, we urge you to call 228-5563. Send us messages on Facebook by typing in CBC Barbados and leave your messages there. Today we will be doing the oximeters and a tablet, and we also have on Thursday the Chief Education Officer, so I figured it'd be a good idea to give away a tablet just before she comes, and because we're going to speak education on Thursday. But that does not stop you from calling to speak about whatever you want to talk about. But I will mention a few things that are happening right now in Barbados that are of concern, and we know the safe zones are effective today. And here are some of my questions. Fully vaccinated people, first shot is partially vaccinated, second shot fully vaccinated, but now we're hearing about a booster. So does the booster mean that you have to be fully vaccinated? You're fully vaccinated with 2, or are you fully vaccinated at 3? I think that is my question for today. We certainly are not stopping people who have this information to call us and share it with us. So this is not only about the general public. So this is interesting to note also with the safe zones for the healthcare institutions effective today. And we know that they have 2 weeks in order to put everything together, but we want to talk about that some more. We have a caller, but when we come back, we'll take that call after the break. Welcome back to Face It and Fix It. For those of you now joining us, because I just shared the show during the break on my Facebook page, we are speaking with the public, members of the public. We don't have any special guests from agencies. We have special guests from the public. You are asked to call us on 228-5563 or 228-5562 or send us a WhatsApp message, 228-5562. Today we're giving away oximeters, but we're interested in your contributions, your concerns, and solutions. Not everybody will get an oximeter, but call us and we'll see if your contribution and your solution is one that we can do so and give you one. Good morning, Face It and Fix It. You're on the air.
Good morning, Giant.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I am holding on. What about you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. How
I
can we
will, pardon?
help you this morning, or what do you have to share with us this morning?
I would like to thank Barbados Water Authority for doing such a fantastic job in fixing the Tennis main at Cattle Wash. It was supposed to be finished in 2 weeks, and in 8 days it was finished. They worked 24/7. Hats off to Barbados Water Authority.
I think that is fantastic, because I think it's about time that people give, praise where praise is when it's due, because they get a lot of licks. They've got a lot of licks over the years, and it's really good of you to come on air and to share that with everybody, because most people do the opposite. Is there anything else you want to share?
I will say,
Is your pressure, let me ask you the question though, is your pressure just as good as, pressure is back up?
yeah, and the water tanker they do about the night and day, we had a problem with water.
Your tankers were on point.
Yeah.
Okay, and you water in St. Joseph. I mean, you on the Bathsheba side.
I am living in St. Andrew.
Okay, you're on the East Coast side. But
Yeah.
when I'm talking about the other side of St. Joseph, I can call it western side.
Okay.
I can tell you that the water that was coming from the St. George Valley, what we call Sweet Bottom, that was coming right up through Castle Grant. That was the best tasting water in the whole country, was down that side. So I hope your water tastes the way it's supposed to taste. It's pretty refreshing, I must say, Barbados water, Bajan water. But in particular in rural Barbados, I find the water tastes a little bit better to me.
Okay.
So I just hope that happens for you too. But congratulations to the BWA, and I hope that they're listening, and so that they would know that people are calling in and singing their praises. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, and enjoy your day.
You too.
All right, bye.
Well, that's good that agencies, they had that issue a good couple of weeks. They came on television. They had their show, Water Wednesdays, explaining it, and they were able to complete it. Well, maybe not in short order, but the prediction of the time was 2 weeks, and they actually got it fixed under 2 weeks. So kudos to the Barbados Water Authority. When people don't normally do it, you know that people are actually calling out, singing your praises. So let's hope that continues. Keep up the good work. Now, on another note, now not on a COVID note, we're talking about persons now getting back into school. I had several calls from people who were a little anxious about the children getting back into school, and the whole notion of getting a vaccine from the ages of 5 and 11. We know that in America, they've started the vaccination process for children 5 and 11, and they were asking if that is something that is happening in Barbados. So we want to know if that is happening, and again, we will bring that information to you and those answers to you, because we're here to help you and agencies face the issues and fix them. Good morning, Face It and Fix It. You are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am good. What about you?
I am okay. I am calling to encourage Barbadians not only to be careful, but to be also interested in your own protection on this COVID-19, because it's a very serious disease. And I know we call it a virus, but it can cause very dangerous to your family that can not get vaccinated, such as myself. I'm a high-risk person, and I am encouraging the Barbadians to go out and get vaccinated. I was isolated, and thanks to you, Joanne, again, for making it possible that I was collected, me and my family, and we were well taken care of.
Go ahead.
I had a situation where my daughter, she tested positive after she called an ambulance. I did not like the care she got, because the ambulance took her to the hospital, put her on a pastor for hours. Then at 4 o'clock, to put her on a taxi to take her to the polyclinic. And I think that as Bajans, we all need to take another leaf out of each other's life, because we don't know how serious it can get unless you are in a situation like the saying goes, who feels it knows it. So I'm encouraging Bajans that can get vaccinated, please do, because people like us that can get right away. I spoke to my doctor, and she advised me too, when I can, to take the Pfizer vaccine. Question is, I understand the Prime Minister said the Pfizer vaccine are only for students. So my intake is, how do I go about that?
The Pfizer vaccine is open up now for everyone because we just got a batch of Pfizer. I think what happened when the batch was going down and they know that the children couldn't take another vaccine like Sinopharm or the AstraZeneca, it was limited then to the children between 12 and 18. But thanks to United States of America and the meeting that Prime Minister Motley had with Vice President Harris, that resulted in us getting some additional Pfizer vaccines. I believe that they're here. Actually, they are here. And it's open to everyone, not just children. So you can get your Pfizer vaccine. And speaking of vaccinations, let me just take the opportunity, caller, and to all persons listening, that today, Monday, November 8th, your vaccination centers are as follows. Sharon Moravian Church Hall in Sharon St. Thomas between 8:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. Eunice Gibson Polyclinic, Warren St. Michael, 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Seventh-day Adventist Church, mile and a quarter in St. Peter, 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Masonic Center, Salters in St. George, 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. You have Christchurch Parish Church Hall in Churchill, Christchurch, 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Now you also have community engagement sites as follows. Springer Memorial School, Government Hill, St. Michael, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. St. Philip Primary School, Church Village, St. Philip, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Students 12 to 18 years may visit any center or pop-up clinic to receive the Pfizer vaccine. Persons who wish to receive their first dose are advised to walk with their identification card. Those eligible for second doses should also travel with their blue vaccination card. Booster shots for AstraZeneca vaccine will also be available at all sites for persons 18 years and older who have had their second injection 6 months ago or longer. Caller, are you still there with us?
Yes, I am.
That was an earful. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Two persons that can get out. Well, there's a guy in my community. He would have had the first shot where he was taken by some of our neighbors, who right now will be back out to work. Is there something done or some transportation provided or someone come to the house that he will be able to get his second shot because it's due?
Well, I think so, but I am a part of a chat that Mr. Ellis is in, and I will certainly reach out to David Ellis, the COVID-19 Public Relations Advisor, and there are other people on the chat too from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We can get that information and before the end of today, because I suspect you're going to get an oximeter because you said you're a COVID survivor,
yes,
but you don't have the vaccine. You didn't get the vaccine because you were waiting for some advice from your doctor. Unfortunately, you caught COVID in between, and you're here with us, and thank God. So now it's good to know that after you had a conversation with your doctor and you're eligible in 3 months, I think it is, it's good to know that you are going for one. But this oximeter is not only about COVID, so we are going to be happy to give you one. You got to leave your name and number with the producer though. I think I know who I'm speaking to, but still leave your name and number of the producer in case I'm wrong and I give the oximeter to the wrong body. So I think you may know how to use it. The directions are there. We are going to get some more and the more expensive looking ones, but today these are the ones that are not so expensive, but they work. Is there anything else you want to share with us before? Do you have children and they're at school, online learning? Is the caller still with us? Okay, I think that person dropped out, but I suspect that I kind of know, I think I know who that person is, but in case, I hope she left her name and telephone number We'll give her a, okay, great. Producer's telling me she left her name and number. Again, the number to call, 228-5563. The other number, 228-5562. If you want to send us a WhatsApp message, you are still eligible via WhatsApp, but you're also eligible via Facebook with your questions or your contributions today, Monday. We'll take the, yes, we're going to take a WhatsApp message and put it up on the screen. This one says, good morning. Could you please tell us if you are still required to write your name in books when visiting establishments? I thought that contact tracing was discontinued. Again, I can share that with Mr. David Ellis, the COVID-19 advisor. I'm not sure because I went to one or two establishments recently down Kingwood Mall side, and I had to write my name in the book. And that was Friday to be exact. So I don't think they've discontinued that. I don't think they've discontinued contact tracing because remember, if you are COVID positive, you still are required to say who's in the house. And if you have a significant other somewhere outside of the house, you may need to divulge that information. Some of you don't, but you should. There's a question here on WhatsApp. I want to thank you for this show, Face It and Fix It. So we can concern people, and I would read that again. I want to thank you for this show, Face It and Fix It. So we as concerned people can share their views about all situations. First time I am in. Probably me first time they're watching it. Thanks. We don't always type everything we want to say. That goes when you're using WhatsApp, and God knows I chop up a lot of my words, and when people send it back to me, I cannot believe that is what I type. So thank you for that. Yes, the show is the type of show where you can air your concerns. If you're having problems, we have people calling this show, but after the show, people call here, but more so, they call me. So I would really prefer for you to get more help and for us to speed it up is to call the show and let the team of the producers and people like Peter Aline and you know, everybody in the production room help by forwarding that information to the relevant agencies so we can get you some help. Now, during the show, or since we've started, we've managed to get a lady home. And I want to say good morning to Angel. Annie, you're watching, and I need to message you. The lady's in her home. Her rent is paid for a whole year. She's got furniture, some of it new. And if she's watching, good morning to you. We also have one person who is lining up for a job, who was unemployed, and she called the show. We also were able to make that happen. So we encourage you. Let us help you. Call us and let us know what your concerns are. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Face It and Fix It. If you're joining us right now, we are speaking to you directly, the public. You're asked to call 228-5563. There are only two phone lines. So either send us a WhatsApp message on 228-5562, or be brave enough and call us on 228-5563, or send us a message on Facebook today with your concerns and your solutions. Again, as I said before the break, you call and you call me after the show and you send me so much information. It's like, this is something for Face It and Fix It. Why not do this? Why not do that? But why don't you come on the show? We don't need to be on TV with a visual. And someone called me and said, but if I call, y'all don't put me on TV right away. No, we do not. Television is for our guests, and we set that up the day before, and our guests have to log on early in the morning and put them on TV. You callers, you don't get to go on TV if you don't want to. And we certainly don't reserve that. We reserve the television aspect for our guests. And we know sometimes our callers might be at home in a nightgown or relaxing. We wouldn't do that to you. So when you call, no one will see you. You can call us and not be concerned about that to that person who asked me that question. Now I want to go on again to safe zones. And what is your take on safe zones, and will it work? I said earlier that I was concerned about the partially vaccinated, fully vaccinated, 2 vaccines, but now we're talking about a booster. So are we fully vaccinated at 2 or fully vaccinated at 3? Good morning, Face It and Fix It. You are on the air.
Hi.
Hello.
Joanne.
Hi.
Joanne, I am concerned about hairdressers not getting vaccinated.
Hairdressers are not getting vaccinated?
No, a lot of them are not.
You mind telling me how you know this? I mean, coming from somebody.
I've been to several ones to see if I can get my hair done by somebody who's vaccinated. And a lot of them are not. So I've left my hair to go gray.
So when you call and you ask, is that the first thing you ask? So okay, let's rewind a bit.
Yes,
you normally have a hairdresser.
Are you vaccinated? They can't tell me that. And then
they can't.
When I go to see if I could get an answer, a lot of them won't answer. And they tell me outright they're not getting one.
You see, that is an interesting comment you're making, is something a lot of people didn't really think of and probably till just now, and I'm glad you brought it up. When you have to deal with someone in an intimate kind of way, in a closer way, whether it's healthcare or even doing your hair, do you have the right to ask them as the customer, knowing that you're getting this type of care, that it requires people being close, can you ask if they're vaccinated? And that's an interesting twist as to how things are going. That's another one to add.
I ask everyone I'm dealing with, are you vaccinated? Because I'm 84 years old. So a lot of them are not, or they won't answer.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear. I personally think, and I would like to hear from the public on this, do you have a right to ask a person if they're vaccinated if that person happens to be sharing the same space and air as you for a period of time, to do a service for you, whether that be your hair, makeup, nails, a massage? I think that it is only fair that if your customers are coming to you and they want to know, you can tell them yes or no, and I don't see anything wrong with that. How many people would you gone to that told you no?
Not allow them to operate unless they're vaccinated.
Well, you see, this is where these safe zones now will come into play in terms of some persons explaining the safe zones, because what really is a safe zone and what determines a safe zone. I have in front of me safe zones that are designated for the healthcare area of at least only healthcare here I can see at the moment. It really doesn't speak to all of the other businesses at this point. But if you are receiving care, massage, a hair appointment. I mean, people don't consider hair a part of your, body in a sense. I mean, but in a sense, you're treating your hair like a hair doctor. Say again?
For your whole mind and soul, that if your hair is not nice, looking nice, you don't feel good. So
how many hairdressers you went, ma'am? Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. You would have had a regular hairdresser, right?
Yeah,
before? And that person isn't vaccinated.
Not have the vaccine.
But what about...
They're not having it.
So what about, you said you call other hairdressers and they tell you the same thing?
With a lot of others, and a lot of them are not vaccinated either.
Mm-hmm.
So
well,
I am 84, and I feel that since they're in such close contact with you, and at least an hour or two if you're going to have color and a haircut, and that really and truly, this is part of your well-being as well. It's not just health care that makes the person tick. You have other things that you would like to have done, and then they're not vaccinated. And they're allowed to operate like that.
Well, I'm looking at it in two ways. I think they should be allowed to operate, but I also think you have a right not to go to a person who is not vaccinated if you so choose, because persons who are not vaccinated, they have a right. They do. But you also have a right to choose where you want to go and who you want to interact with. At 84, you are vulnerable, and I can't blame you for feeling the way you do. And if you like, you can leave your name and your number, because I can hook you up with a few hairdressers that'd be more than happy to facilitate you and are vaccinated. Would you like us to do that? Well, okay, she's dropped out there, but she's probably listening. And to that nice little old lady, if you want to call back the producer and give us your name and number, we are more than happy. I know a few of them that would be more than happy to treat your hair and give you a little bit of dye, because you said you let it go gray. And I do understand how you feel, and I think you have a right to feel like that at 84, that you're worried, and I can't blame you. We do have another WhatsApper here saying, what about safe zone resorts for staycations? All-inclusive safe zones. Where does it end? Is there everywhere going to be a safe zone? I mean, when you really think about it, and again, I think it's not a bad idea, but you got to break it down and dissect it a little bit. We talk about safe zones and treating people with getting people more frequently tested because they're not vaccinated. But then we also have vaccinated people who can still catch COVID. They can still spread COVID, but their testing is way longer. The period is like 60 days or weeks or something like that. So it's different for the unvaccinated. So my question is, you have unvaccinated and vaccinated. Yes, the vaccinated it can be breakthrough and they can have, save your life and minimize death. We know that, and being critically ill. And you have the unvaccinated that has the same kind of exposure, not the same. Their risks are higher, your risk is lower, but both of you can catch it. Shouldn't both of you be tested? That's my question. There's another question here. Hi, Joanne. I feel like you certainly have a right to ask whether a person is vaccinated. It gives the person asking the question the choice of whether to proceed with the service. And I'm agreeing with you. I think there's certain services. Now, I certainly will not be going in to the supermarket and asking the cashier if she's vaccinated. I mean, that's crazy. But certainly if I am going for massage, well, you want to know, my hair, makeup, getting done, you want to know, are you vaccinated or not? I think you might want to know. Even if they say no, and you still proceed, at least you know. But there's certain times where you cannot ask that question. I don't think you should. For people, let me just say, I went for breakfast at Burger King on Sunday morning. I'm not going to ask the lady who's taking my money if she's vaccinated or not. I want Burger King. So I give her the money, and what we do is we keep our mask on, and she kept her mask on, I kept mine. So there are ways and means of doing it, but certainly getting your hair done and spending so much time over a shampoo bowl. And I know hairdressers that love to talk, and they will talk right over your head, and they're laughing and they're talking, and I understand how she feels. This person is saying here, Valerie Rock, but vaccinated persons still get COVID. I understand her concern though. That was from Facebook, and prior to that, WhatsApp message that was up. It says, good morning, I have COVID and my mom advised me of this show. So this is my second time watching it. I think it's informative too. Well, thank you for watching. I hope the fact that you're watching the show means that you are home isolated and that you are not ill to that extent. I pray that you're not. And I hope you have an oximeter, pulse oximeter at home. And if you don't, maybe we can get one to you or to your mom. Again, now everybody will have one. But to those of you watching, to those of you in isolation right now, you got nothing else to do but to watch TV. I hope you're listening, and I hope we're cheering you up somehow. I hope you're giving you the information. And I hope that when you come out of this, if you want to, hopefully maybe talk to someone who is not vaccinated, and that's assuming that you're not, because there are some people in isolation that are vaccinated. What the numbers are, we do not know, but I would believe that over 6,000 people in home isolation, all of them can't be unvaccinated. But from what I understand, the majority are unvaccinated. Let's continue with the questions, and I'll get back to the oximeters. Hi, Joanne. I feel that you certainly have a right to ask whether a person is vaccinated. It gives the person asking the question the choice whether to proceed. I had that one. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, but I read it already, and I'm reading it again. Maybe it came through twice. But to those of you at home, we had a person on, a physiotherapist on, and God, please forgive me for not remembering the doctor's name. Senior moment, but a physiotherapist was on, and she was showing us how to breathe, and that we forget to breathe as human beings. And she was on, and she was showing us what to do. So when we come back after the commercial break, I want to touch on that when we come back. We'll be back. So you're really not going to believe me. During the break, I asked the producer, because I'm going through a lot of papers here with a lot of information, and I said, what did I say I was going to say after the break? She's like, I don't remember. And I'm saying, I don't remember. So I'm having brain fog right about now. So forgive me if I jump right into something else. We do have a WhatsApp here that I really wanted to read out quickly. This person says, and if the producer can put up the WhatsApp that came in about, this person here is saying, the lady who spoke of hairdressers not disclosing their vaccination status. You said that you have the right to ask about their status. Does that mean that when dining out, we should ask if the chef, if he or she is negative for HIV? Now, I really want to respond to this, and I'm not a doctor. There's a big difference between HIV and COVID-19. You don't catch HIV from sitting next to someone, and you certainly don't catch HIV if the chef in the kitchen happens to be preparing your food. Those myths went up with the Dark Ages when people felt that they could not take anything from someone. I know of a lady, I won't say who she is, but I know her well, and back in the days, in the 80s, 90s, she was taking some money, it was in a shop, and she put a plastic bag over her hand to take the cash, and because people said, man, that guy has HIV when he was leaving the shop. And the shopkeeper proceeded to put a plastic bag over her hand to take the money. But that was back then when we were ignorant to these things. And clearly we still need a lot more education on these things, because you cannot compare COVID-19, a virus that is transmissible, highly transmissible, to HIV. I can sit down, I can have dinner with any HIV person, and they can talk to me, and they can be close to me like this. But you don't catch HIV like that. You catch COVID-19 like that. So you to compare the two is like oranges and apples. So I'm hoping to that WhatsApper, if you care to respond or even call, and you want to have a little debate on it, there's a big difference between the two. One is highly transmissible. The other one is more like a disease of choice. So we are, thank you. The producer is telling me what my brain did not compute. It was to talk about the physiotherapist before the break. And I said we had a physiotherapist on last week or week before, and she was telling us that breathing is a big part of COVID-19's recovery and just a regular routine, day-to-day routine. So the people at home who are recovering in home isolation, that you may not be symptomatic. Obviously, if you're symptomatic, you're to call 536-1800. Don't forget to breathe. And when I say that, people will think, what do you mean don't forget to breathe? Really and truly, I think we forget to breathe. And we breathe from our abdomens, from our diaphragm, and deep breaths that we normally would take. And she showed me to put my hand on my chest and on my diaphragm, which I told her was a lot bigger than my hand could cover, but she said it can cover, and to take these deep breaths 10 times in and out, but expand your stomach while you do it to get oxygen in your body. Now when you do that, she was saying too that the oximeters, the pulse oximeters, when you put them on your finger, you should see an improvement. These are things that I would like to encourage maybe the GIS or Public Affairs or COVID Advisor to put those types of ads out, information out, because that's something very important. Now I'm not telling people to stay home and treat yourself. You need to call a doctor if you have symptoms, but breathing is a major part of this. This person is here saying, Joanne, you can't catch HIV from eating fried pork and rice, but you can catch COVID from a hairdresser doing your hair. My point exactly. Can catch HIV from eating fried pork and rice, but you certainly can from a hairdresser. And you can, if the hairdresser is not wearing the proper PPE. And the thing is, like I do with hairdressers, they're holding over you. I know I go every 2 weeks to get my hair washed. And the hairdresser is over me, and good morning, Risha, if you're watching, and she's talking, and then the nail tech girl is over there, and a joke getting shared, and everybody's laughing out. Imagine if she didn't have her mask on. But, I understand the concerns about 84 years old. She's scared, and at 84, she knows that she's fragile, and I'm thinking, well, Kadir, let's help her find a hairdresser. I'm sure she'll hopefully call back. Let us help her find a hairdresser that she's comfortable with, because I might not be that person. You may not be that person. You may go to your hairdresser and say, look, just keep your mask on, I'm good. That's up to you. But she has a choice, and she does not want to go to a hairdresser that is not vaccinated. And I didn't get to continue the conversation with her because I wanted her to know too that vaccinated people can still, and that you still have to wear your gear, your PPE, your mask on at all times, because that does not stop you from catching COVID if you're vaccinated. It just minimizes it. Again, we want to encourage you. I think we're up to 10 oximeters. I've given away 3. I'm counting. I think I've given away 4. So I hope that we have the names and the person who sent in a message, I believe, on Facebook asking for a pulse oximeter for an elderly couple. More than happy to do that, but we will have to contact you to get that information. So 228-5563 if you want to get an oximeter. Again, you need to let us know, 228-5563 or 228-5562, or send us a message via Facebook. WhatsApp is okay too, but you can call us on those numbers. Good morning. Face it and fix it. You're on here.
Good morning, Joyanne. How are you?
I am trying to be good. What about you?
I am trying to be good myself, thanks. I'm not a physiotherapist, but I just wanted to share a little bit about breathing. I've had some experiences where I had to do actually breathing while I was in hospital. And what they taught me is that, okay, you breathe 2 ways. One is with your chest, and one is with your tummy. The chest is that you put your hand on your chest and you breathe in 4 breaths, at least a count of 4, and then when you're breathing out, it's a count of 8. The one with your tummy is that you breathe in, and when you breathe in, your tummy should go out because the air is coming
Correct,
in.
like a balloon, like this push
Right.
out.
And then by the time you finish your 8 count, your tummy should be flat. That's what I was
Because then
taught.
you're contracting, so
So it's a
so you
count
should
of
be breathing
4
out
and
and your
8.
stomach is out there still.
Right, exactly, because we tend to breathe the wrong way, but that's the correct way to breathe.
And truthfully, as simple as this sounds, you see, oxygen, don't mind all the air atmosphere is mixed with other gases, etc., but the air that we breathe, that we take for granted every day, do these exercises on a regular basis, and your body, because the oxygen is, the body is starving for oxygen, especially with COVID, your supply is limited. But it's limited for other things, other reasons, other illnesses. And that's why it's important, I think, there's no need not from this show. I'm only trying to get the ball rolling with the oximeters and sensitizing people quickly on the need to get one. I certainly can't supply everybody, all 200 or 300,000 people. But if you don't have the oximeter, again, with your breathing and sharing your knowledge, you might have asked, you said you did this as a person recovering from an illness. This is what you were
Yeah, it's an
taught?
operation. I had an operation, yeah.
And it worked for you?
It definitely, I do it every day. I still do it.
So again, just repeat it for me. You breathe in, so this is for like 4 breaths?
With the chest, you breathe, you inhale.
Deep.
For a count of 4, as much as you can. And you exhale for a count of 8. You do that with the chest. Then with the tummy, you inhale for a count of 4, but while you're inhaling, your tummy is going out because the air is coming in. And for the count of 8, not rushed, just as smoothly as possible. By the time you finish the 8 count, your tummy then should have, all of the air should have been exhaled. So it would be, your tummy would more or less be flattened. So inhaling, your tummy goes out, and exhaling, it comes back in.
So coming from someone who's had some experience after an operation and saying it's worked for her.
More than one operation. So I've had a lot of breathing exercises because every morning when the nurse, the physiotherapist came in, those were some of the routines we went through, the breathing and walks and a little bit of movement with the feet, because certainly after some operations, you have to learn how to walk because you can't. So a lot of that is done. So with the breathing especially, they show you how to breathe, the way to breathe, and you have to do the amount of inhaling and exhaling to make it correct.
And that's fantastic.
And for it to be effective, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, coming on this show, we talk about facing things and fixing things, and I think breathing is important that to remember. And again, somebody said to me, how could you say that? I'm standing here, I'm breathing. And I said, but not correctly.
Yeah.
Not in the way that fills your lungs with the oxygen that it needs to help all of the organs in your body. And that is something that I am begging, whether it's GIS, public affairs, find that physiotherapist. I'm going to get her name and get her to do some 30-second ads so that we can remember these are the things that we can do along with all of the other things that a doctor tells us to do. We do need to breathe. But how are you now? You're okay?
Well,
you said you had a number of surgeries.
Yeah, I had a number of surgeries. I'm still having some issues, but I'm handling them. I'm on medication, and I'm doing my regular monthly blood tests and everything. Everything is in order, but yeah, I'm doing good. Except, you know, I have some spasms in my body, but I cope. And by the grace of God, because I put Him in everything, put Him first in my life. I pray, and I have my faith and trust in Him, so I'm good.
And I think that's fantastic. I mean,
Sometimes
so much bad news all around everywhere. Sorry, say that again?
Sorry. Sometimes I'm sitting down talking to persons, and I'm having some serious issues going on in my body. I'm in pain, but they would never know because I cope. And there was a time when I was in pain for 24/7, and it was, yeah, you know. But we all have challenges. We just have to
fight our way through. You can hear me?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm saying that
just
we all
listen
have
to
challenges, but that's it. You have to cope with them and deal with them.
Yes, you do. Well, I want to thank you because a lot of people I don't think there's a person, whether you're rich, poor, black, white, Indian, whatever religion you are, we all go through things. Everybody. Probably more so now than ever before.
Exactly.
And the mere fact that you talked about being in pain 24/7 and you coping, you know, there are people with less problems than you listening right now and probably don't feel as positive as you do. And that's not to put them down. It's just that to each his own.
Yeah.
And this is why people like you, but it's important for people like you now, and I'm glad you called, to help people like that.
I would love to.
But you're doing it. Yeah. So, you know, so there's a person right now who may not have had as many surgeries, but they're listening and thinking, you know, because you sound as if you're a mature lady.
Yes, I am.
Right. And there are people, they're probably younger than you and just probably in the bed right now, not being able to move. And your mind is a lot to do with healing. I am not speaking this as a medical whatever, and I'm not giving anybody any medical advice. I'm just saying this, what happens for me. I find that, you know, I talk to myself a lot. There are days I come in air, even on the set, and I feel as if I'm going to faint a little bit. I feel my head feels a little light. I am not two mornings. And I talk to myself while I'm talking to you or listening to people talking to me about health issues. And I'm here sitting thinking, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I ain't feeling too thing. But then I feel a little bit better afterwards. But information and all that is happening around us, negative, death, every time we turn around somebody. And I know that we can't run from it, the reality. It's not so much what has happened, is what we're going to do now that we're still here.
Yeah.
What are we going to do now that we're still here? And what difference can we make? And I think that listening to you, even if it's just one person right now that you lifted up, I think that's great. You know, nobody asks us to do 100 people, each one reach one in whatever way for something that is positive. So I want to wish you continued good health, God's strength,
so much.
And thank you so much for calling. And I hope that this call somewhat has made your day too.
And God bless you. You're doing a very good job. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. We'll be back after the break. Directives 2021. This directive applies to the following health service institutions which are hereby designated safe zones. Health institutions designated safe zones. Health service institutions within the meaning of Section 2 of the Health Service. Well, I don't want to go through all the different Act Cap 44. I'm going to try to keep this simple. Nursing homes, private hospitals, and senior citizen homes within the meaning of that regulation number 2 of the health services. So basically, all the little fancy jargon with all the numbers and the Roman numerals, I think that they're just trying to explain exactly what are the safe zones as it relates to health. But at the beginning of the designation of the safe zones, it says the Prime Minister may, on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer, issue a directive designating any area, business, or establishment to which only persons who comply with the provisions of the directive may go or may transact business. And then number 2 says an area, a business, or establishment designated by the Prime Minister pursuant to subsection 1, which we have to go back to, shall be known as a safe zone. A person who fails to comply with a directive referred to in subparagraph 1 is guilty of an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $50,000 or to imprisonment for a term of 1 year or both. Now, truthfully, and this I'm speaking professionally now as a communication specialist, this deserves a press conference. It really does, because it's subject to all types of interpretation. There are people right now who are concerned, they're panicking. I can tell you that there are people asking now as we speak, and QEH was actually scheduled to come this morning, and they had to defer it because there's a meeting going on, and a very important meeting. Well, all of their meetings are important, but this one in particular, because this speaks to their institution and what's going to happen there. Now, I can assure you, because I spoke to Dr. Cave directly, the hospital, as much as they're talking about safe zones, if you are sick, regardless of what you have, you are treated at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. The accident and emergencies where you go when it's an emergency, that has not changed. This is not supposed to be interpreted that the hospital is now an area that because you're not vaccinated, you cannot come. Let me repeat, this is not telling you that you cannot go to Queen Elizabeth Hospital or the polyclinics in this country. If you are ill, regardless of whatever you have, and you're not feeling well, you are required, you're asked to go. Don't wait. It could be a heart attack, it could be an aneurysm, God forbid, whatever. Get to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital and get some care. I know this because I had a conversation, and I'm thinking, why would people put something else out there? And that's to make you scared somewhat, because this amendment, even though I believe it requires a press conference and for people to break it down a little bit, at no given time did it say that you can't go to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for care because you are not vaccinated. And I'm hoping people don't go down that road. And speaking of which, you can still call us again, because I'm just talking a little bit. You can call us again at 228-5563 if you want to get in your 2 cents worth, your concerns about the safe zones or anything you want to talk about, but in particular the safe zones. And let's see if the questions can go out there to the powers that be. And I'm asking publicly here now, directly, Madam Prime Minister, you know you're probably not listening, but you know your people are. This requires a press conference so that people do not misunderstand what people are trying to achieve here. This WhatsApp message is saying, I am disappointed that Barbados dropped its guard in terms of home isolation. The doctors saw it coming, and the monitoring bracelets should have been here in abundance to prepare for what is happening now. We will get an update, I believe, from the Ministry of Health, hopefully later this week on our show, as it relates to home isolation. Yes, they admitted that there were not enough bracelets. But there are some people who are pretty good at keeping their word that they're going to keep quiet, and I know we just can't rely on that. But when you don't have every last thing, what do? What realistically can you do? If you got 3,000 bracelets and 6,000 people, for example, you're going to have to choose the 3,000 people that are either lower in their viral load and lower at risk, or probably old people who may not be as mobile as the young people. And that's what you're going to have to do. Nothing is going to be perfect. And it isn't. And this certainly is a rough time. It really is. So I'm hoping that through this show and several shows, I did say it to you because we got like 45 minutes left, get your calls in. Now I'm going to make an announcement. Now I've shared this with the CEO of CBC, and I believe I can speak on it. And you will be sending out a promo to support it so that you can see what needs to be done when we start this promotion. Face It and Fix It would like to help two individuals, two homeowners. And homeowners meaning you're either owning a fully wooden home or wooden wall, predominantly wood. You own the home, you live in the home, and the home is in dire need of repairs. What we're asking you to do, after we send out the promotion, because we're going to send out the WhatsApp number, and it may not be our traditional one, but you have to wait. We're going to send out the promo, and we're going to tell you what has to be done and how you can be a recipient of your home being repaired for up to $10,000 per home. So listen carefully. So all I know, start preparing. Take your cell phone up, put out your camera, start taking some pictures, look for them title deeds, because if you don't own the house, then you're not eligible. So look for some sort of proof of ownership. Start looking about any drawers, start looking in the cupboards, start going in the plastic bags, when you're storing all your papers and stuff like that. Look for the title deeds, look around the house, inside and outside, and think, listen, this house is leaking, this house got termites, I falling through the flooring, my roof is really bad, I need help fixing this home. We are going to help you fix 2 homes. Only 2 for now. We're going to try to see if we can increase it next year. But the promotion will start soon, and the actual repairs will be done in January, because Christmas is kind of like a month away, and it will be too soon. But at least get your pictures together, get your information together that you own that house. You have to be living in that house. It has to be a fully wooden house or a wood and wall meaning the back, because you know the back of it could be wall with a bathroom. And I've seen so many houses around Barbados, and I'm thinking to myself, dear God, when the rain falls, what's happening with these people? And I'm talking about holes and pieces of wood out, windows boarded up, part of the roof missing. And this is nothing to do with Elsa. This is pre-Elsa, you know. And those of you from Elsa, well, you're eligible too. But this is not about the hurricane. This is just about general repairs. So 2 homes we will choose, and how we choose them is that when you send us your picture via WhatsApp, title deeds proof, we're going to pull them together. We have an able-bodied committee that we're pulling together. They're going to look at every house, and then they're going to pick up the ones that they can repair for up to $10,000, put that in the pool, pull it out, then you're a winner. And that's what we're going to do. I mean, we can't be Face It and Fix It if we don't help fix a few homes ourselves. And I'm not going to call the name of the construction company as yet. They are very, very helpful people. They don't do a lot of public relations. But I asked them for 11, to be honest with you. But they gave me 2, and I'm grateful. But they're also actively pursuing some other companies, and we're doing that to see if we can increase. It would be nice if I had 1 in every parish, but hey, we're not giving up. We can actually get that done if we ask. So viewers in Barbados and around the world, if you know someone that has a home, and it's in dire need of repair, please do not send us pictures of wall houses, because we're not doing fully wall. We're doing wooden homes or wooden wall, and you wait until the promotion comes out, but you can get your pictures ready, walk around the house, go on the outside and see and say, well, you must know if your house needs repairs. You must know if you're getting wet when you rainfall. You must know if, unfortunately, and this is a real thing, that if mice or rats are getting into your home in a way that is not desirable. I mean, nobody wants that. So if you find that these things are happening and it's a health hazard living there, and we can repair it for up to $10,000, this is what we're going to do. All right? So we're going to take a break. When we come back, your calls again and your WhatsApps when we come back. Welcome back to Face It and Fix It. I was actually checking my WhatsApp messages, and yes, you can if you want to, but I'll have to forward them to the producer. I want to encourage you to utilize 228-5562 to send your WhatsApp messages to the show. And I don't have a problem if you send them to me, but I really would prefer if you send them to the show. But some of the WhatsApps, and I want to address something too that somebody more or less mentioned, that the program that we hear are called Brass Tacks, and people call and they said they observed that people just like to call and complain. Now, this show, it's okay if you call and you have your concerns. I don't call it complaining. I call it sharing legitimate concerns, and we really would like to help you sort those problems out. Now you could decide, and sometimes I know this for a fact, I sat in the chair on Brass Tacks, and people will call and they will complain, and when you check it out, it was not a legitimate concern. It was things that it was made up. They made it up, and they will tell you of things that they heard or they saw, and it was just to throw people off. During the show, what we do, or should I say after the show, when the producer sends me information and people need help, yes, it takes me a little bit of time, but I will investigate to see how legitimate this concern is. So I would love to urge you, if you have concerns and genuine concerns and you need some help, the reason for the show was not to be like Brass Tacks, where people call and they just air their concerns, and then someone says, well, you know what, I really hope the powers that be hear you. We actually would like to help you. Now, what is really concerning for me is that people want to call to create this sensationalized stuff. And we don't want that. We don't want to sensationalize anything. We just want the truth, and we want to help you. We'll take this caller, 228-5563, reminder to call. Good morning. Face It and Fix It, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry, I just got to keep pushing in my earpiece because it keeps slipping out.
Okay. I heard you speaking about lots of homes being in disrepair. My suggestion is why the government don't utilize the students of the SJPA who we are paying for. They go to the SJPA for minimal using minimal fees. We can use those persons to assist in helping those less fortunate persons to repair their homes. This is just a suggestion. I don't know if anyone ever thought about that. But certainly...
I didn't, but I think it's an excellent idea.
Yeah, because you have plumbers, you have electricians, you have carpenters in the making. That would be good for their work experience as well.
To repair old people homes, etc.
Yes. They should look at that. I mean, they can be...
That's provided they're not doing something similar, because I can't swear if they're doing something, you know. Every time somebody comes with an idea, we hear somebody saying, well, you know, we do that already. And my response always is, but if you're doing that already, it ain't working.
Yeah. Because,
you know?
Yeah. We can utilize these people and give them on-the-job exposure. So they'll be good at their, you know, fields, and they'll be helping the society as well, and they'll be giving back to Barbados.
I think that's an excellent, you see, this is the type of thing I'm talking about with this show. Someone calls and with a, excellent idea, and I'm hoping, and if they don't listen, we will share this with the relevant ministry. I think it's going to be a combination between the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Housing in order to put that proposal to and see if that is something. And I will report to you, because I plan to call today and ask after the show. And we can report back to you if it's something that they will definitely look at. And not only just look at, hopefully something that they will do. But I never thought of that. Never thought of that.
We have skills training. We have all of these places. We are training young persons all the time, and we're not utilizing their services. We can utilize them in so many different areas in Barbados. The government, you know, we have our economy is now recovering, and we can utilize them to fix buses. We can utilize them to do so many things. But it's just that, you know,
I think they use some of them to do things. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's cooking or something like that, they had a function and they invite them to and to be there. I'm not 100% sure. But the Barbados Vocational Training Board certainly would be the place to start. And that's why I said that I will certainly find out today, that is through the Ministry of Education, because they're looking to improve that section of the ministry, get young people excited, and not only get them involved in skills, but get them jobs too. But what you're saying is, we got so many houses and people who are studying whether carpentry and plumbing and all these different things. Why not get them to, and not to exploit them, because I really don't want them to be out there being, you know, a little slave labor. They still should get a stipend for it. But it certainly would not be the amount you would have to pay out to a more seasoned
I wasn't thinking of them working for free, but, you know, if we're going to be, instead of hiring a big construction company, utilize that is well established, utilize these persons and give them, you know, some experience and some money in their pockets as well. That they don't feel disheartened at the fact that they're not working, they've studied and know they're not working, and all of these different things. So we need to really rethink our position, you know, and look at these areas so that we can have a very skilled workforce and we can develop Barbados for the future.
Listen, I really thinking it as an excellent idea, and I kid you not, I will be speaking to the Barbados Vocational Training Board today, and I'll put that out there. And we also have the Chief Education Officer, I believe, is going to come and visit us on Thursday on the show, and perhaps we can put it to her there too as well. But I love a great idea. I love to see when people coming up with things. It's not only politicians that we vote for that come up with ideas. The average person comes up with ideas. And I'm glad to hear that. And I hope you leave your name and number, because you really deserve an oximeter. If you don't need it, then that's different. But hopefully we can get your name and number, because we said we were going to give it to people who had excellent solutions and ideas on the way forward, and I thought that was an excellent one. So producer, I hope you got her name and her number. So moving on, again, we've got about 30 minutes to spare. 228-5563 is the number. 228-5562 if you want to send us a WhatsApp message. And if you want to leave us a comment on Facebook, you type in CBC Barbados, Face It and Fix It, leave your comments there. Now, I don't know if you've seen the meme and you've seen the video about the bus crawl versus, what was the other name? I think you have to whisper it to me, producer. There was a difference between the people are calling, one is called a bus crawl and something else they're calling it, but there's a video circulating, and not sure if it's from Barbados or not. But before we can mention those things, we need to authenticate them before we share them. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Face It and Fix It.
Hello, good morning. Is it me or? Hello?
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. My two problems relate to, one, it relates to the well issue in Barbados, the well covers that are often broken. I am at the stage where I am repairing a well cover, and I have come up with a solution that I think might be able to go across the nation. And my solution is to put a double well cover. Put one well cover and then put another sink one well cover about a foot down below the ground, and then put a second well cover to the ground level. So that would be two well covers. My point is, if one becomes broken, both shouldn't be broken at the same time. That's one issue that I would love to hear circulate, and the engineers have their say on whether it is worthwhile or should be done or could be done. And my second thing is the kite flying issue across Barbados. This is an annoyance. And we have welcome stamp people in Barbados, and they are alarmed at this nonsense called flying kites at night. And the kites are flown in any area of Barbados. My solution to it is that a kite should not be flown with a bull. The bull is what causes the noise. That bull that they stick on the back and keep all that noise at night. I am saying kites should not be flown at night with bulls. So anybody with a kite after 5 o'clock with a bull on, either take it down or they should be charged. And any kites and at some point kites being let out, should not have bulls on them at all. I think that's the solution to a problem. We can put a man on the moon. We can solve a simple problem like a kite keeping noise in our head all night. And I really think that we need to address this problem, because the welcome stampers and all Barbadians are annoyed about it as an issue. And to me, that's a simple solution. Take the bulls off.
Can I share with you? Can we have a little quick conversation on both of the things? Let me start with the kite flying first, and then move on to the wells. I don't know if you want to borrow my scissors or my sword, because I know that it happened to me a while back, and I cut the cord. So who was ever missing a kite somewhere in St. Philip near the Union area? That was me. So I'm thinking that if you can do it safely and it's in your backyard and you can see and you can reach,
but it is,
and you can't find the person, cut it.
You can't even find where the kite is taken out.
Well, I didn't find the individual, but I saw the cord and I cut it.
Upon land, take the kite out in the area where I live. They stake the kites out and
they go home. And they go home, and you gotta be with this buzzing. Exactly. I mean, unless your television is on, you sleep with your TV on.
No,
but most people don't.
And what I'm saying is that it should be a national thing. It is a noise disturbance. It's a noise pollution situation. So, as a national issue, I am saying that kites should not be allowed with bulls, or bulls should not be allowed after a certain time. That's it. Problem solved.
Now, to the well situation. Now, I don't know how long you've been watching the show. We started the show in June, and I think it was the first week of July or the last week of June. We spoke to the drainage unit and the head of the drainage unit. And during that time, we came up with a program, and we needed to develop it. And CBC, we do need to develop it. And Peter and Aline and I only the other day said, look, we need to meet and develop that well program. Again, we started it, but then we had to break for the Olympics. What we suggested to the ministry that includes drainage in that Ministry of Transport and Works and Maintenance, is that we were going to ask you, the viewers, the listeners, identify a well closest to you in your community. Take a picture of it. Stay 6 feet away from it, because I don't want anybody looking over anybody's well and falling down in it. 6 feet away. Take a picture. Tell us where it is. And Sky Mall and Mr. Eastman, you know, I'm sure he's watching, Eric Eastman. He said that they were willing to reward the person for their time. It was not a competition. It was a national call. Let's find these wells. Where is the well? We were actually calling it. So the person would get at least $25 in mall cash, redeemable at Sky Mall. So we're going to still do that. Mr. Eastman, if you're listening, we're coming your way. And it would give the ministry an idea where these wells are, mark them first with caution tape, so that you and I and the hikers and everybody, we would know where the wells are. And then give them time to cover it, which would then bring in your idea, if it's something that could work. Cover the wells with a double cover. But I thought, to me, I'm thinking it's more important right now, seeing that they can't fix all, cover all right away. Tell me where the wells are, so that maybe walking or we stepping off the street from the bus stop on the grass area, that we don't drop in a hole. And that is what happens sometimes with people. From what I understand, they're either working in the area and they drop into a well. Luckily for some, you know, they make it injured. And unfortunately, I think it was about 2 years ago, a young man lost his life in the Pine area. So I think it's important for us to do everything that we can. I heard the Prime Minister spoke about this the other day, about identifying the wells too. I think it was only last month I heard her saying it, but she was also talking about being able to clean them. But I think a combination of what we said here on Face It and Fix It, covering them because we don't want anybody dropping in. Prime Minister is saying cleaning them as well, and you're saying covering them. You see how the combination of the three things can work. So we can do this particular program with the help of the public, but we need to know where they are first. We need to mark them, and we need to share that information with everybody, so that when we're walking, we know where these wells are. MTW or the drainage unit would then be able to cover them and hopefully use your idea. Are you still there with us, ma'am? Okay, if that person is called, I wanted to mention that this is No Sugar November. No Sugar November. They're saying no soft drinks and no juices, no soft drinks, no juices, and no adding of sugar to tea. Right. Here it is, No Sugar November. Gold, no soft drinks. I can read that. It's a little small for me, so I can look back down. Silver, no soft drinks, no juices, no adding of sugar and tea. And gold, no soft drinks, no juices, no adding sugar to tea, no foods with added sugar. And we also have here coming in some information we saw over the last couple of days since Prime Minister Motley made her visit to Glasgow. We have information that the Prince of Wales is to join Barbados celebrations during the transition to the Republic. You know, we spoke about the Republic here right on the show, and we had attorney at law Gregory Nichols and Ronnie Yearwood and my friend Khalil Kofdawala. They were our guests talking about the Republic and Barbados transitioning to Republic. And now in about, what, 21 days, we're going to be there. And exciting times for Barbados. Some people may disagree. I don't see any harm in it based on what I know. You're just making a name change for certain things. I think the important part is the Constitution, and any changes that are being made to the Constitution certainly requires some sort of collaboration with the public and information sharing with the public and simplifying those documents. And speaking of simplifying documents, I want to go back to the Emergency Management Act and encourage the legal team and the legalese that when you are writing things for the public, there are two types of documents we should be seeing. The one with the legalese and the one with the regular layman terms English for people to understand, because you have this and you have this amendment, but yet you have to have a meeting with other people from the legal fraternity to interpret what is written. Why can't we do that? Why can't we just have two documents? You have one that is written in all the legal terms known to mankind, that's fine, but you have one that the average person can understand. And I said that because I mentioned the Constitution a couple minutes ago and how that is written, and when you're writing things, I think that you need to simplify it as much as possible. So today, this document may be causing some confusion in Barbados right now. So before it gets any worse in terms of people asking questions, before they have a chance to put out the fake news and the memes and make the sport and everything about it, I'm hopeful that the public affairs team, hopefully we will have a press conference on it so that we can ask our questions, and that so people to understand that this does not mean that if you're not vaccinated that you're excluded from society. Like some people are fearful this morning about, I have people who are very close to me, one who is at my house right now, and I'm not ashamed to say that cannot vaccinate for medical reasons, but we do things in a way to operate safely, as safe as we can. There's no 100%, none. And if you don't get vaccinated, and then that's your choice. But again, the science shows that when you're vaccinated, you have a better chance. And if the majority of us can do this, then we can protect the people that can't. It's as simple as that. And I am hopeful that when people say to me, but you can still die, yes. You can still catch it, yes. But wouldn't you rather die trying? Or die from not doing anything? If you're gonna die, die trying. That's just from me. I'm not telling you what to do. But if something happens to me, God forbid, knock on wood, and I'm trying to do everything I can, and it happens, just remember that I told you, at least I died trying. This other WhatsApper is saying, could you please repeat the info on repairs done to homes? Is it for persons to take pics of houses they see, or can you yourself take a picture of your own home, just trying to get it right? No problem. We'll have the promotion, and with communication, we do not want anybody misunderstanding. Do not go and take pictures of somebody else's house. It's not yours. It's your home. You live in it. You own it. It has to be a wooden home or a wood and wall, predominantly wood, meaning that most of the house is wood, and probably just the bathroom is in wall. The house now should be so bad that you gotta be like, geez, boy, I really need some repairs done. I can't afford this. My children in this house, granny in this house, we getting wet, the rats coming in, the termites eating it out. I have seen those types of houses around Barbados, and this is nothing to do with Elsa. This is before Elsa. This is probably even before Janet and the dare still. But we would like to repair at least 2, and the repair is going to be up to $10,000 in repairs per home. Now, $10,000 can do a lot with a wooden home, providing that we, plan it and stuff like that, and don't go and look for the most expensive things. I can caution you that building material has gone up. So I'm hopeful that the people that we will be going to will understand that we are undertaking this project for the greater good, and that they will consider that and make sure that we get the material at a cheaper rate. So to that person, do not send anything yet. CBC will be working on the promo ad. We're going to put it on social media. We're going to put it on CBC TV 8 so that you will know exactly what to do. And again, I repeat, do not take pictures of somebody else's house if it ain't yours, and do not come to us and say, this is your house, but you're renting it out. No rentals. In other words, the homeowner must be living in the house. If you are generating income from that home, you are not eligible. You've got to be in that home your home, but it is in need of repairs, and you need to show some sort of proof of ownership in order for us to do this. Now, it seems like a lot, but I'm sure you can appreciate that we're not going to repair a person who's bringing in income, a landlord, to go and then up your rent after we repair your house. That ain't gonna happen. So we're not doing that. So, but it is my pleasure really to be on this show and be able to do things like this. And as we said earlier, we talked about the lady who got the house for 1 year rent-free, and a few items. And I want to thank Courts too, Trisha Tanis, for assisting with some special discounts that we got for that lady. We've had several calls afterwards. We cannot help everyone, but there's some situations that we figured are more dire than the others. Not that your situation is not important, but just remember, if you come on this show, if you write to us, then don't be ashamed, don't be shy. We ain't gonna know, or nobody will know of your situation if you don't share that information. So when people say, well, you got the people business all out there, it's not about that. It's about the intention. And our intentions are good intentions where we want to help. Now, if you have an issue, please put it here, because sending it to me behind the scenes, and I got 1,000,001 things to do when I leave here, you may not always get the help anytime that you want it. But if you put it out there, and I say to you, this coming from a very good place, do not feel shame. Don't be shy. You should be more worried about being on the front page of a newspaper for stealing or doing something that is bad. There's no crime in being poor, and there's no crime in needing help. You need some help, let us know. And let us ask somebody to do something to help you once we realize that it is a legitimate concern. We are not government, or I am not government. CBC may be under government, yes. But this is strictly this show reaching out to you, nothing to do with politics, reaching out to the government agencies that have to help you, reaching out to the private sector that if they can help you. And the only way that we're going to know is if you let us know through this show. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up. You'll still take a call or two if you would like to call us quickly. And then, of course, we know we have to conclude it by midday. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Face It and Fix It. I'm going to just send some messages out to you and read them out. Urban Revitalization Lessons in CARICOM. It's on Monday, November 8th, today at 12 p.m., right after the end of the show, to 2 p.m. We have speakers and topics: redevelopment of East Port of Spain, a strategic approach by Dr. Deborah Thomas Austin. And I can tell you that there is a registration link here. Forgive me for jumping all over the place. World Town Planning Day is basically what it's called. World Town Planning Day today from midday until 2 p.m. It's a free platform. Registration is free via Zoom. The links are there. And I'm pretty much sure if you go on to Barbados Town Planning Society, they have a page, or email them, Barbados Town Planning Society at gmail.com if you want to get more information on that. This is World Town Planning Day. Isn't it kind of nice that everybody has a day? Everybody. No one is left behind. Also, during that break, persons, even though we're telling them, don't send anything right now, they wanted to know what the WhatsApp number is for that. I can tell there's going to be a lot of feedback here for this one, and just to let you know that we won't be able to help every home. We can help two, up to $10,000 each. But what we said we would like to do is to the houses that come that didn't make the grade but can be repaired for the $10,000, we would put them back into another pool and try to pull out again to see if we can get another company to assist us, and we can continue like that over and over again. I know everybody wants a new spanking home for Christmas, but just remember, when you spend all the money on Christmas, you still got January. This is why I felt that it was important to do this in January, the repairs, to start the promotion now, to give ourselves enough time to get in a lot of the pictures, all of December. And I think it's kind of nice if you can have your home repaired in the beginning of the year, because the old people used to tell you that what happened in the beginning of the year, what happened for the rest of the year. I don't know if that's true, and if that is true, I hope you have money in your wallets, and that you would have more money in the rest of the year. But on a serious note, this particular promotion is near and dear to me, because I've seen a lot of homes needing repairs. We grew up in Barks Road in St. Michael in a wooden house, and it was 2 bedrooms, very small, 7 children, mom and dad, outside toilet, outside bathroom. And I'll tell you this, my mom kept that place so clean. It was amazing. Christmas was amazing too. And I like wooden floors, I do. But unfortunately, you know, like everything else, you get big, you outgrow the house needs repairs, and it's not your mother's. So you move again, and you move into another wooden house, and this time it went from Barks Road to Seeley's Land. Seeley's Land now, you know, you're taking a step up. Bathroom closer to the back room, so you got shower on the inside kind of, toilet still outside, but you're moving up again, and you're moving to another house where everything is in there. Now, I know some of you young people watching can't really, you know, understand where I'm coming from, but we grew up humble, and we didn't have a lot, but my mom is a very proud woman, and you can rest assured that when we went outside to play, all the hair, comb, and brush, and everybody had to look right in the same outfits, and there was no, I'm not eating this or eating that. We had to eat what was given to us, even if it grew bacteria on it after a few hours of being out. In other words, you ain't moving from that table until you finish it. I find that today our children, unfortunately, they've been spoiled a lot with fast foods, and parents, because some of them can't be bothered to either cook or bothered to do something, you know, to give them something more nutritional, the fastest thing to do is to shove a biscuit or some sort of cooked corn kernels or some juice with enough sugar, and you know it's no sugar November, to the child, and then causing obesity, etc. So I said all that to say this, that we are living in different times, and I think that we should always just remain humble and don't forget where we come from, but we don't want to go back there. We want to keep moving forward. I'm going to read this WhatsApp quickly. Good morning, Joanne. Years ago, I believe, subject to correction, the SJPPI, as it's called now, or the Skills Training Program, had trainees through their programs, worked and built at least 2 wall houses, beautiful houses, opposite the Sir Optimus Village in Eden Lodge. There were trainee plumbers, carpenters, masons, electricians, etc. I am not sure if that program is still in place, but from my view and the comments that were made in the press, the houses were well built and sold and is still standing today. In my view, the program was a success, but whether it had continued is another matter. This program needs to be revived, and I agree with you. This is why I was saying, because I thought something was happening in that direction from the Barbados Vocational Training Board side of the Ministry of Education. But I can tell you that from messages, they're coming really good. They're coming out in a couple weeks, social media pages and all of the classes and skills, and to encourage younger people to do more. And I'm hearing from a little birdie, job placement too is going to be attached onto that. Coming up in some other shows, I just want to make a public reach note to some companies and to some of my friends. Some of you have money, some of you don't. Some of you own companies, some of you know starting out. But to those of you who own companies and you know who you are, there are a lot of people right now that are unemployed, and I know that it's very hard for you business owners to keep up a little bit with the changing of the COVID protocols, and you're losing a little bit of business. But I'm hoping that you can find it in your heart, if you can, at least reach out to some people that are in need of a jobs. There are a lot of people, and I'm sure that in file 13 recently, and you know who you are, applications went in. You told the people that there was nothing at this time. If you know you have something, don't go put back with the application thing again. Call the people who took the time to write you that application. Call and give them an interview, at least that. Give them some sort of hope that they may be eligible or suitable for the job. And I said that to say this because I had a lot of, I won't say a lot, 3 people, but still 3 in the last 7 days, not hearing from people. Is 3 too many? And I know that that's not the only 3. That's just the 3 that told me. And I know the companies that they wrote to. And I plan to call the companies that they wrote to because I know the people. I'm not saying that you have to hire them. I'm saying at least acknowledge. And I know that they're qualified because sometimes you will see, you will only acknowledge suitable applicants, etc. I know for a fact that these people were suitable, but no one emailed them back. And you really shouldn't do that if people took the time to do that. I was guilty of that once. I did that. And I actually promised myself that it ain't too late. It might maybe a whole year. I still calling back everybody or gonna message them or email them. Because I understand you don't have the time, but I have a small company. I'm not the big ones. So they have their HR managers and this buddy. I got a little mom and pop shop, little hustle here that going on and trying to make ends meet. But to the bigger companies, the right thing to do would be maybe to acknowledge them. But I am actually making an appeal today because this show today and more shows, even though COVID is around, I'm really fighting hard to see how we can get back on track socially and economically. People need jobs. Youngsters, you need to educate yourselves a little bit more. And I know some people go to YouTube to learn. And that's not a bad thing because I know some guys who learned a lot on YouTube. But apart from YouTube, pick up a book and see if you can get a skill and join the skills training program as well. So I wanted to share that with you, and I'm hoping that the people who are listening, forgive me because the producer was talking in my ears and I really did not catch what she just said to me. But I share that with you because I'm hoping that people will come on board and create some employment for these persons who are jobless right now. And we know the social ills that can happen when people are out of work. On Thursday coming up, join us. I believe that we will have the Chief Education Officer on board. Everybody's interested in these vaccines for the children. What will happen to persons between the ages of 5 to 11? And I know that the Ministry of Education is not responsible for the vaccine process. The Ministry of Health is. But what will school look like in 2022 if we're closer to it? How online teaching is going on with the parents. I hear people making a plea for the teachers about giving them more money. I'm for that. If we have more money, give our teachers. God knows that parents are pulling their hair out, curlers out, everything out, and the fathers, well, whatever little bit left of their hair, pulling out because the children were at home for too long. So we hear what what the Chief Education Officer has to say, and I believe she's joining us because we need to boost the vaccinations for children with Pfizer. It's now here from ages 12 to 18. The faster we do that, the faster we can get back out. Again, I have no horses in this race. I am not pushing anyone to vaccinate. There's no bribery, there's no nothing, it's up to you. However, I'm hoping with the information that you do the right thing for you and your family and for your loved ones, and protect yourself. And if you're eligible for a vaccine, kindly consider getting one. And in closing, this is also not only the No Sugar November, this is Dr. Corey Ford's November challenge for vaccinations. And I'm hoping that people will vaccinate in November. Thank you all for listening, for calling, especially the viewers and the callers and the listeners. I will be back on Thursday, God willing. Be safe.